This is awesome, man. We should do this instead of recording a podcast.
Yeah, here's for the guy that called us the same. Does this look the same to you?
I could smell you, bro. Yeah, I mean, I think they are the same glasses. Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today, we're talking about Season 1, Episodes 10, 11, 12, and 13. Are those ones you watched, Ben?
Sounds right.
Alrighty. You can watch full video episodes of the podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found on patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. What's going on, Ben?
Just watching Lost, pretty much. That's my whole life now, you know?
Nice.
Even though I hold it off.
Microphone.
From broken to hopefully not broken.
Hopefully not broken. That's the bar we're setting for this episode. It was fun to see you. This is how it goes for anyone working in like tech stuff. This is actually how it goes. We did before the show, the pre-show. We were going through the technical run through of how, like, does it sound okay? Does it look okay? And you had like, it was locked in. It was great. Second we hit record, you like grab the mic and it's like in a completely different location now. And
is it okay?
I am hearing some rumbling. I think just like the little movements there. I'm sorry, you might have to set up for this one. We can get you a mic arm. Maybe we'll get you a microphone arm.
Put your feet up.
Yeah. I think it's Shelly's first appearance on the show on the podcast is this week. Anyway, we're off to a great start. We are just about halfway through the first season of Lost. I think we had like a mid-season break in between two of these episodes. And
we did or they did? I assume they did.
They did.
Because I lost track of time if that happened for us. Yeah.
No. They took a mid-season break. I think they like stopped like December 8th and picked it up on January 5th on a bit of a cliffhanger. And these episodes, I would say, overall kind of took that concept we were talking about last week, that rando concept, and really ran with it. I got legitimately scared from these episodes. They like they really spooked me and got under my skin. Like the Ethan stuff, like the idea of a nefarious rando was like very upsetting to me.
Yeah. I mean, not much more to say then. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Really.
But would you be that guy? How do you know? We've been talking about which guy are you? What if you
I wouldn't
were
be
actually
the nefarious rando? Excuse me.
You could be. Somebody has to be. It might be you.
It's not me. I'm John Locke. I'm still John Locke.
Okay.
Yeah. We watched episodes 11 and 12 like right back to back. And that night I woke up and was just thinking about Lost. And
in a sweat.
In a sweat. Yeah, seriously. But it hit me like in the middle of the night. Like I woke up and realized that Ethan ROM is an anagram for other man, which I think you're supposed to probably realize like right when he introduces himself and spells his name to Hurley. But it took me a couple episodes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
As we've discussed, I've watched about 150 more episodes than you have. Slightly less than that now.
Isn't that creepy, though? He's other man.
Other man. What if his name spelled something different, though? Wouldn't that be even weirder? What if his name was like PJ Norgan and stands for JP Morgan or something? It's just another guy.
I mean, I guess that would raise a lot of questions. Yeah, I would be. What's this show trying to say by having
everybody's
this
got crazy names
secretly named JP Morgan? But yeah, I haven't done the anagram for anybody else. It just seemed like they were very specifically like calling out like the spelling of his name um, in that episode. So I think you're probably supposed to maybe put that together.
Jack stands
Um,
for just another cool killer.
Unaliver, excuse me. We're on YouTube.
Sorry.
I've been really enjoying that. The saying unalive. Yeah.
Mm.
I thought I was kind of getting a feel for the rhythm of the show, but at this point, I really have no idea of what's going to happen next. Like each episode could reveal something completely insane, like episode 13 did. And I've kind of bad news as well. My friend Andy spoiled the ending of the series for me. I was gonna try
Awesome.
to but because of my extremely powerful mind, I'm going to proceed unbothered.
Well,
But
don't
I feel
spoil
like
it for me,
I'm not
because I'm
going
the only
to.
one who doesn't know. Then.
Well, I don't know when when this reveal happens. What he told me, I'm not gonna say, and I'm gonna proceed. I'm gonna proceed on as if he didn't tell me that. Uh, but anyway, yeah. So the 4 episodes we watched this week were episode 10, 11, 12, and 13. These are Raised by Another, All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy Issues, whatever the case may be, and Hearts and Minds. So let's jump in to episode 10, Raised by Another. This was directed by Marita Grabiak, and it aired December 1st, 2004. Happy birthday to my dad. The summary for this episode. This is the one about Claire. Claire has a horribly realistic nightmare about her baby being harmed, while flashbacks reveal her troubled past. So we see some flashbacks. We get the backstory for Claire Littleton. She learns she is pregnant, initially supported by her boyfriend, Thomas. However, Thomas soon leaves her, saying he's not ready for fatherhood. He's like an artist.
I'm just thinking about Littleton. It's an anagram for little not, as in she is not little because she's a pregnant woman.
Come on.
Hmm.
Very good.
Little secret thing
Mm-hmm.
people might have picked up on.
You're burned up that you didn't realize that was the anagram.
Yeah.
It seems Thomas's apartment, or like their apartment that she moves into, it looks like they filmed it in a classroom, like they dressed a classroom. I don't know if you felt the same way on that, but it looks weird, like they're the studio apartment. Anyway, so yeah, he leaves her saying that he's not ready for fatherhood, and Claire seeks advice from a psychic, Richard Malkin, who becomes agitated after a vision and insists that she must raise the baby herself. Which I thought that was a pretty good, if I was going to do a scam or like readings or something like that, that seemed like a pretty good tactic to just be like, oh no, I can't proceed with this. This is too intense. This is too, your future's way too insane. Be like, no, please, I'll pay you double.
Well, but
All
they already did that fake out in the Sawyer episode.
They already did that. Yeah.
Though that would be cool if just the end of the show, just everyone's a scammer in the exact same way, and that's just they've just done 160 episodes of basically the same backstory for every single person.
Yeah.
I don't want you to do that.
Uh-huh. He warns Claire that if anyone else raises the child, it will be in danger, or there will be great danger. It seems to be it's ambiguous, but like very important that she raises the child. If anyone else raises the child, that's really bad. So, but despite his warnings, Claire plans to give up her baby for adoption. However, a series of strange events, including failed pens when she's about to sign the adoption papers, lead her back to the psychic. I thought that was cool. I like that. That's a very leftovers thing to happen. I'm picking up the little leftovers crumbs that things are going on, and
What would
that's
you
an
do?
awesome.
What would you do? Reach for a fourth pen or leave?
Are you asking me if I would give up a baby for adoption?
Or fine.
Are you asking me if I'm ready to be a father?
Sort of. I mean, how strongly would you take the sign of the 30 pens not working?
I don't think that would be enough for me to like change my mind. But I
How many
think
how
it
many
would
pens would it take though?
to completely change my mind.
Yeah.
Be like, clearly there's something here. Well, okay, that's not what happens with Claire. It's not like she is like, oh, clearly somebody, or like this isn't meant to be. It's just like enough of a like a an obstacle for her to kind of like to more realize that she's not ready. It's not that like it changes her mind from being ready to not ready. But if in your hypothetical, like how many like weird divine interventions would it take for me to change my mind from something I was set on? I don't know. Like
I'm doing.
I think I would.
I'm planning a sort of what would you do TV show, hidden camera show. I'm going to be the John Quinones.
You watched the game this week.
I did watch the game.
I know.
But
Yeah.
I'm going to do kind of a John Quinones thing. No, but I'm just going to, what would you do if I set up a fake adoption agency and I broke all of the pens in the office? As a sort of anti-adoption advocate. I don't know if that's a real thing, but it will be on this show.
There are.
How many pens? No pens that this person could come into touch. Yes, sort of like a Michael Douglas in the game situation.
Yeah.
Limited to just pens. This person will never touch another pen that could sign
I think my thought process would probably be like, it would become less about like, it would probably be like, oh wow, okay, this pack of pens is messed up, and then it'd be okay, well, you sign something, it's like I thought it was gonna be the surface, honestly. You never want to try to sign something and like you have to have like it on a stack of other papers for it to work, or like put it on if it's just like on a glass surface, that maybe won't run. So I'd probably try that. If that didn't work with a bunch of different pens, I'd be like, okay, this pack of pens is defective. But then they're like, okay, no, this was from different place or different packs. Probably be like, it's probably like the humidity level in here or something. But then I would ask somebody else to be like, you write something, see if that works.
I would do, taking a note from the game, I would do 15 broken pens in a row. You can't find one. And then they finally pull their own pen out of their wallet. And we're like, oh, fuck, it's a real pen. They weren't supposed to get a real pen. And then they do it. And then it explodes all over the paper. This pen has too much ink. And now the paper is ruined and they have to sign a different piece of paper.
I can't stop signing my name. Yeah, I signing my name on everything. I'm entering into a million different contracts. Oh, no, I bought an F-150. God damn it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. But it's a very leftovers thing. We also got back to watching that. We watched another episode of that this week. So yeah, she goes back to the psychic, and Richard, the psychic, offers her $6,000 and a ticket for Oceanic Flight 815, convincing her that a couple in Los Angeles will adopt the baby. Initially suspicious, Claire eventually agrees to his plan. On the island, it's day 15 since the crash, and Claire is plagued by terrifying nightmares that leave her screaming and injured. So she like wakes up screaming in a very like unsettling scream, I must say. And Charlie grabs her like physically, and this was probably the most upset I got in this stretch of 4 episodes, even though I got like spooked, like I said before. But like I yelled at my TV, just like, back off, Charlie. Don't like grab her, man. Like he's trying to like calm her down, but like, oh man, that was like panic inducing. You know what I'm talking about? Like, would you like go grab somebody who's like having a nightmare, or who's like who wakes up from a nightmare and is like screaming? If someone's screaming and like kind of freaking out, like, are you grabbing them? I think that would make things worse. That would make it much worse for me. Maybe I'm telling on myself here. Like, don't touch me if I'm having a problem.
Charlie's in the weird zone too, where I think we find out. It's a little confusing at this point, but like 3 episodes from now, somebody makes the comment that they've been here for 3 weeks on the island. So they've been there less than 3 weeks at this point. Charlie's doing little, was getting a little too close to Claire.
There's a few instances of this happening. Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
business professional relationship with all of these people. We got a problem to solve, but I'm not trying to. We're not making contact. We're not touching. Maybe a handshake at most. No side hugs or anything like that even yet.
Yeah, I'm imagining everyone else has probably set up a society to like live in like a little village, and they'll occasionally just like pass by and you like give like a polite head nod like in the forest, but you're like you've got your whole other thing going on, and it's super basic. Like you could very easily benefit from the like the civilization that they've drawn up, but you're just like, hello, yep,
It'd be inappropriate.
it'd be inappropriate. We're still just sitting next to each other on the plane. It's still that exact level of courtesy.
I'm buckled in because they never turned off the fasten seatbelt button.
Yeah. You're still on the seat at the bottom.
Guys, I don't think we're supposed to get off the plane. I think we need to wait for the teacher's permission to
wait for
that.
instruction. Yep. So one of her dreams involves Claire no longer being pregnant, and she encounters John Locke pulling tarot cards and finding a crib full of blood. And I don't mean to blow up her spot here, but Zoe has gotten very into tarot cards in this last 2 weeks, and so that was a big Leo DiCaprio pointing at the TV moment, like, "Hey, it's tarot." In another dream, she's attacked and injected with something in her stomach, and these experiences make her increasingly anxious. Hurley decides to take a census of the survivors after Claire claims to have been attacked. During the census, Ethan ROM, one of the rando survivors, seems uneasy about sharing his information. Jack dismisses Claire's fears as imagined and offers her a sedative, which upsets her. And I agree with her here. I mean, even if they are nightmares and they're like, according to Jack, like she's hallucinating these. He's like, okay, she's like a week away from being due or whatever. Shouldn't you still like make her as comfortable as possible? And like, yeah, we will look out for people coming into camp for you. Don't worry about it. Like, that seems to be the way, but whatever. Jack has really pissed me off in these stretch of episodes.
Yeah, Jack sucks, dude.
He sucks. Least favorite character.
Just kill him, folks. Just get him off your island.
His voice is really annoying too. What is that? He's like, I think you're imagining it. I don't know. He's got just like a nerdy voice. Okay.
Doctor voice. Loser
Doctor voice. Yeah. She decides to move back to the beach, but while doing so, she starts experiencing contractions. Charlie runs off to get Jack and comes across Ethan. He tells him to go get Jack and returns to Claire. She tells Charlie about the psychic's warning, and Charlie speculates that the psychic might have known that the plane would crash and used it to ensure Claire would raise the baby herself. Meanwhile, Saeed returns to the camp severely injured, bringing news that there are other people on the island besides the survivors. Locke, watching from the shadows, seems concerned. Hurley discovers that one of the survivors is not listed on the flight manifest, indicating that someone was on the island before the crash. As Claire's contractions subside, Ethan approaches her and Charlie with a menacing look, suggesting something sinister is about to happen. Ugh. Yeah, spine tingling.
Yeah.
This was also our first episode watching it with a new sound bar. We got a new speaker setup because our last one broke. Kind of breaking it in. Don't know why I brought that up, but new sound bar over here. Yeah.
This episode kind of sucked. I think it's getting a 2 from
really
me. Yeah.
This is the first one that isn't a 3 from you.
Yeah, this is mostly a 3. 3.
I'm not writing these
star
down.
Show. No,
so I guess if a listener wants to start a wiki for how we've rated these, maybe. But I went the other direction. I'm all in on the weird supernatural stuff, so I like the psychic and the pen's not working. The horror of the final moments of this made it special, and I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. There's there was like Jack bullshit, but it wasn't. It was like him being like a doctor rather than just like a bad person. I don't know. That makes sense. But yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Next episode.
Yeah. Keep it coming. You can do, in my mind, you can do better, guys who make the show or whatever.
All right, season 1, episode 11. All the best Cowboys have daddy issues. Is
that a phrase? Was that a phrase back then? I mean, like,
Daddy
I guess
issues?
why couldn't it be? But I don't really remember people saying it, so it strikes me
You
as
talking about daddy issues?
Yes, daddy issues.
Oh. Where do you think that when do you think that started?
I don't know. Like, I guess there's no reason it can't be much older. It just seems like an early to like mid 2010s thing, you know?
That's not. I'm not. I guess not. I guess you're obviously wrong.
I don't like that phrase. I don't like that phrase. It's weird.
Sure. It is weird. It did make me think though. Like you can play the True Detective game. Who's the True Detective? Who's the cowboy in this episode?
Who's
and it turns
the
out
daddy?
several of them are the cowboy.
Okay.
Because they're all talking about the freaking daddies in this one.
Sure.
Claire and Charlie go missing. Oh, sorry. This aired on December 8th, December 8th, 2004, directed by Stephen Williams. This is the last one before the mid-season break.
Sure.
Charlie and Claire go missing, sending a ripple of panic among the other survivors. Jack, Kate, Locke, and Boone quickly scramble off in search of the pair, following their footprints in the sand, and further reveal secrets regarding the relationship between Jack and his father. So, we see some flashbacks. This is a Jack-heavy episode. We're seeing a lot of Jack here.
Yeah.
In the flashbacks, Jack is shown operating on a woman in the emergency room, or the operating room, to flatlines. Despite his desperate attempts to revive her, Jack's father, Christian Shepherd, insists that he stop and declare the time of death. It later comes to light that Christian was performing the surgery under the influence of alcohol. Jack was called in by a nurse when it became evident that Christian was impaired. To cover up Christian's inebriation, he manipulates Jack to sign a false report stating that alcohol was not a factor. Jack later notices his father pulling the same tactic on the patient's husband, which is placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder as he's talking to him. And that spurs some realization that, like, ooh, he's manipulating me. At a board meeting, it's disclosed that the deceased woman was pregnant, a detail Jack was unaware of during the surgery. Horrified, Jack confesses that Christian's impairment compromised the surgery.
I didn't quite what was the pregnant part? What was the connection? I didn't quite. Why did that spur it? Was it
I guess
I couldn't tell if it was like a medical misclue or if it was just an emotional reaction. Because I know about neither of those things, medical things nor emotion, nor human emotions.
I read it as an emotional thing that, like, oh, you not only did you kill a woman, you killed her unborn child with this. So, like, it wasn't just one life that was lost due to your negligence or your immaturity. It was two.
Yeah.
And so I guess we do get definitive answers. I guess unless we've revealed that all the flashbacks were fake. That, like, I guess Jack actually was a doctor. We see him docting in this episode. And so my theory that he was
Dr. Dre
not actually a doctor is apparently wrong.
Yeah.
That would have been cool, though.
Would have been cool. He really did a good... At that point, you know, how can you fault him? He took on the role pretty well. He wasn't just like, yeah, I'm a doctor, so
here's my chance. Yeah.
Let me just chill and you guys take care of doctor stuff while I be the bureaucrat. But he was doing doctor stuff on the island, so you got to hand it to him. It's like when they invented doctor's licenses or whatever, and they're just kind of like, yeah, if you didn't have a license before now, you can just keep doing your thing, you know? let's not do this anymore. But you guys are kind of, I guess you're making it happen. So whatever.
I guess, yeah, it does make me think back to like the pilot and other episodes where like, ah, okay, fine. I'll take everything at face value that you were being. Makes it less interesting. Or that like you were just being a Boy Scout this whole time instead of like, I don't know, overcompensating for not making it in the real world or whatever. Makes him less interesting. Like, yeah, you was really a doctor. On the island, day 16 brings tension as the survivors learn from Hurley that one of their own, Ethan ROM, other man, is not listed on the passenger manifest. Charlie and Claire are missing, and Jack, along with John Locke, ventures into the jungle to find them. They discover 3 distinct footprints, suggesting that Ethan has taken Charlie and Claire. Locke decides to gather a hunting party while Jack continues the search alone. When Locke returns with Kate and Boone, they find Jack and follow a trail marked by Charlie's knuckle bandages. Dude, I'm pissed at Jack this whole time. Just listen to John Locke, dude. Like, he's the man. He will not fail you. Just do what he says, okay?
Yeah.
Once again, I'm proven writer and writer every episode that it's like it's not only not a bad idea, it's a good idea and a moral imperative to leave your child with this guy.
Still disagree, but he's a good guy, but I would not leave my children with him.
I think that I like the way that he operates. I like the way that he teaches life lessons. And that's who I'd want my kid hanging out with. So as they search, Jack believes he hears Claire screaming and falls down an embankment where he encounters Ethan. Ethan threatens to kill one of his captives if Jack continues to follow him. Despite the injuries and setbacks, Jack continues on his search and eventually finds Charlie, who has been hanged. Jack performs CPR on Charlie, refusing to accept that he is dead, and ultimately revives him despite Kate's protests. Yeah, he's like super headstrong this whole time. Like the hunting party like splits up. Like Boone and Locke go one way because Locke felt the trail went one direction, and Jack and Kate end up going a different direction. And I'll get into this more in episode 13, I think. But I think that's an interesting point where, like, okay, if John Locke's is such a good tracker, whatever, how come he picked the wrong trail? And Kate happened to pick the right trail. But
which one is what does right mean?
Yeah, what does right mean?
What is right?
I don't think John Locke is really an operator or a tracker, really. I think he's just attuned to the island.
I think all who track are trackers. In the theme of our previous episode, all who track are trackers.
Back at the caves, Jack learns from Charlie and Ethan. Back at the caves, Charlie learns from Charlie that Ethan's primary goal was to capture Claire, not to harm the others. Meanwhile, Boone and Locke, still exploring the jungle, stumble upon a metal surface beneath the mud. Their discovery hints at hidden secrets on the island, suggesting a deeper mystery waiting to be uncovered. Mid-season break. I do think there was a compelling dynamic between Jack and his father here. Like, it was well done. Well, yeah, I don't know, like the whoever played Christian Shepherd, Jack's dad, did a good job. And the horror elements are affecting to me in this one, but Jack's bullshit on the island of like being like too headstrong and not listening to Locke, most importantly, put me off too much to award this any higher than a 3 out of 5.
I'm giving it a 3-2. I'll say that Christian Shepherd, Dr. Christian Shepherd, as I like to call him, is portrayed by John Terry, who is in Zodiac.
Who was he in Zodiac?
Well, according to the Zodiac page, Charles. Charles Theroux. Charles Theroux, but he's good. But he's also better for our show. He's also been in The Living Daylights, who I do recognize him from, and I wonder if you know who he is.
I'm like, that's one of those Bond movies, right? Like that's the level
which we've done. We've talked about these a lot in the
that.
past. Do you know? Can you guess who's a notable white guy who's not James Bond in the movies?
In The Living Daylights?
The Living Daylights.
Like who can you tell me who's Bond in?
What if I said James Bond?
Sounds like a Moore.
No. The Living Daylights is Timothy Dalton.
Okay,
So
that was a good one.
Two movies. You only get 2 movies to choose from.
Okay. So the 2 Timothy Dalton James Bond movies were The Living Daylights, of course.
I'll give you a hint. I'll just give you a hint.
License to Kill?
What if?
No.
That's not the question. This is The Living Daylights.
I know. I'm trying to orient myself here. Okay, go ahead.
What if James Bond, but yeehaw?
What?
He was Felix.
Sorry, what's the ultimate? I'm trying to.
He was Felix Leiter. You're trying to guess who this guy was.
Okay.
He was Felix Leiter, which is a very notable person. You know Felix Leiter. He's one of your favorite characters in the Bond series.
Sure.
You know.
I don't remember him in The Living Dead. I don't remember the Dalton Felix. I remember.
Okay. You know Jeffrey Wright Felix. Probably.
I know Jeffrey Wright. That's primarily.
Sure.
Meh.
Anyway, okay. Don't want to talk about him. I want to talk
Wasn't there a?
I want to talk about Mr. Ethan Frome. Ethan other man. I'll say I put his name in an anagram finder, and it did not suggest other man, but it pointed out that.
Am I wrong on that?
I think I'm right. You're right, but it doesn't say other man in the anagram finder I used, which seems to be a pretty crappy anagram finder because it did not. The top result was not an anagram, but it said if you remove the T, it's it's menorah.
Yo, what anagram finder are you on?
Not very useful, but William.
There's just a guy who's running that. He's like, if you just got rid of all these letters, it's you running it. You're like, what if it was something else?
What if it was something else? William Mapother. He's a great slimy guy. He's a great, if you want a guy.
Isn't that Tom Cruise's name?
William Mapother?
William Mapother. Tom Cruise's real name. Thomas Cruise Mapother IV.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they related? Don't know. It doesn't say. Actually it does say. They're first cousins. First cousin of actor Tom Cruise. This
is
guy,
Christian Shepherd.
No. This is
Who are you talking about?
Ethan, other man from.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. He's a great actor, I think. I just want to call him out, He's a little background guy. He comes in as a background guy.
Yeah.
And I just want to give him
good work.
Credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
And he got his credit because it seems like they later put him in a movie near and dear to our hearts, World Trade Center in 2006, where he was Jason Thomas. Have you seen that movie? It's not a good movie, but it's a notable movie.
Who does he play?
Oliver Stone. It doesn't matter. Who cares? But it's an Oliver Stone movie. Very, very notable movie. So I'm glad that I'm in my mind. I'll just imagine Oliver Stone saw him and thought this guy's a slimy guy, so spooky and oily. I should put him in this movie.
He was
about New York.
Yeah, he was
a great background character in a show that's filled with background characters.
Was able to suddenly turn up the terrifying presence on this dude. It wasn't. He seemed. Yeah. He had the.
And he is in Zodiac too. He is in Zodiac, which is another slimy movie. Ethan.
I thought you were talking about
in character.
Christian.
No, we're still talking about Ethan.
Okay, sorry. And he plays who? Isn't that Charlie? Like he's one of the guy. He's one of the couples, right? He's one of the he's like a younger guy in that age range, right? He's like is he the husband who gets approached at the lake? Or when the Zodiac
Now
assassin?
you've completely lost me. Oh, you're talking about in Zodiac. Probably.
Okay, we're
Don't
shutting
know.
the podcast down.
Let's just go for it.
Yeah, all right.
Whatever.
Let's just stick to Lost. Yeah. We really should just call this Getting Lost. All right. Season 1, episode 12, whatever the case may be. And I liked this title. That was fun. That was a fun. I think this would have been something that I suggested to. If I would have suggested this, I think people probably would have. I want to. So here's what am I trying to say here? This is the kind of writer's room I would like to be a part of. If we're gonna come up with a title like this, and call this episode whatever the case may be, that's awesome. All right. Aired January 5th, 2005, directed by Jack Bender. The summary of this episode. Kate and Sawyer get more than they bargained for when they stumble across a beautiful waterfall in a previously unexplored part of the jungle. They dive into the water but discover 2 bodies still strapped to their airplane seats. Kate spots a silver case which she brings up and claims as her own, but Sawyer has other ideas.
Gotta say, very spooky. This is the first thing in the show that I think I couldn't do single-handedly on my own. I could have done everything else that every other character did because I'm more alpha than them. But I gotta say, swimming to the bottom of the lake and seeing a bunch of dead people strapped into a thing, very spooky skeleton. Too spooky.
Oh my
for
God!
Me.
It's a weird looking dummy down here. That looked like a Beetlejuice character, dude. That didn't look.
Don't care. I would have been scared. I'm just putting myself into the real world situation because I'm an empathetic person and I can empathize with these fictional characters. And I would be spooked. I'd be high voice scream coming out of the water. Not just screaming while I'm underwater, but I come above water and I'm screaming in Kate's face.
Important question. While you're underwater, are you in your jeans? Are you swimming in jeans?
Yeah, I did take notice of that too. No, I would.
That's the
not.
most fucked up part of this show I've seen so far is the swimming in jeans aspect.
Well, is there a weird like censorship thing around that? Because Evangeline Lilly gets down into underwear that kind of cross
between. But she still keeps her top on.
She keeps but then Sawyer takes the shirt off, but keeps those baggy jeans on.
Gotta keep those wet jeans on.
It's really tough to swim in pants.
Yeah. Man, I wouldn't know because I would not be doing it. It just seems so uncomfortable.
Would you
chafing the whole rest of the day?
How big? If you got into a bucket of water with a dead person, a decayed dead person, that'd be gross, right? You would spit out the water.
How would that be possible? A bucket could not fit a person.
Just imagine a very large bucket, like a very large trash receptacle.
Okay.
And you
I'm not getting in the yardie with the dead guy.
And if you did, if I dunked your head in there, you would be grossed out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. How much dead guy?
How much
parts per
pool,
million?
How much? Yeah. Before you spit out, because that little pond, spring, whatever you call that thing, that's still too small for me. I realize, like, I'll get in the ocean, realizing there are probably lots of dead people at the bottom of the ocean. Probably a lake.
It's like Pirates of the Caribbean down there. They're like marching around.
Yeah. I'd probably do it in a lake as well. But that spring, whatever, too small. I'm grossed out. I'm going to Jack right away. Like, give me something. Give me something for this. That's gross. I might have got a dead guy in my mouth.
Ugh. Yeah.
But these guys dived in again.
They go back. They back for more.
Back for more.
For sure. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not getting in the ocean or lake kind of like anyway.
Sure.
But so I'm just not getting. I don't want to get in the pool. I'm just not getting in the water, man. So it could be as big as you want. It could have no dead guys in there. I'm staying dry.
Sure.
So, yeah, I guess this episode, like, okay, so this big, like, cliffhanger that happened like a month ago in real time was that, like, oh, there's this, like, creep in our midst. There's the nefarious rando. Uh, he's taken our sweet Claire and her baby, and they're like, okay, we got to go get her. Like, next episode, they're just like, well, we're down one. Like, they really are not doing anything about it. That bothered me.
Yeah, you're right. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Jack was like, okay, the minute it's bright out, we're gonna get a search party going. And then like one of the first like lines, like Kate says to Jack, like, it's been 3 days. Jack's like, fucking leave me alone. I'm like, hanging out, man. Okay, so we see some flashbacks. We get more Kate flashbacks. She's in New Mexico using an alias while applying for a bank loan. Her alias
How do you
seems to be
know
like it.
That's the alias, though. You know.
That's true. I guess we don't know because well, she goes by like Maggie sometimes, but also Meg in the flashback, and
Sure.
her last name Ryan. So her alias in this is Meg Ryan. Perhaps it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
We do find out like, wait a minute, she's Meg Ryan. That's the
Ryan.
reveal about. Okay, yeah. During her visit to the bank, though, a robbery occurs. Amidst the chaos, Kate is pushed to the floor, and a man intervenes by disarming one of the robbers. When the man instructs Kate to shoot, she claims she cannot use a gun. After the situation is brought under control, the man who is part of the robbery drags Kate into a back room. They share a kiss, revealing Kate's involvement in the heist. To cover up her role, the man hits Kate, making it appear that she is an innocent bystander and threatens her if the manager does not cooperate. In the back room, one of the robbers implicates Kate of orchestrating the robbery. She then shoots the robbers to prevent them from killing the bank manager and demands that he open safety deposit box number 815, which contains only an envelope. She takes the envelope and leaves. Ooh. That's the same number as the airplane. On the island, day 21 brings tension as Kate and Sawyer discover a locked Halliburton suitcase in the water. They keep name-checking Halliburton on this.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows about Halliburton. Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney's Halliburton?
I think so, but I don't know for sure. It's really confusing. It seemed like the episode was actually sponsored by him because, like, you got Hurley, who, again,
oh man, you'll never open one of those. Those are damn secure. Yeah,
yeah.
That's a Halliburton.
Yeah. You would need to be as sharp of a businessman as future Vice President Dick Cheney to do that. Actually, no, he was Vice President back then.
Yeah, current Vice President.
Current Vice President Dick Cheney.
He's calling up J.J. Abrams. I really need you to spotlight my suitcase. That was very strange. Oh, that's a Halliburton Zero or whatever the model is.
Maybe this is not. Wait, I just looked up Zero Halliburton, and I feel like this is not the Dick Cheney thing, but it could be.
Okay.
But they say they
still
sell
weird to name check the brand over and over again.
Attaché cases. They sell those, which is pretty cool. Maybe I'll have to buy one of those. Oh, never mind. They're like $600. But
well, do you want someone to get into your stuff or not?
They sell iPhone accessories now, so I feel like that's not him. But let's see.
Well, they changed their name too, right? Or I'm thinking of Blackwater. Blackwater changed their name.
This says it was founded in 1938.
All right. What about the Dick Cheney Halliburton?
That seems to be different. I see it.
Okay. Well, it was fun while it lasted.
See, folks, you can just imagine a different thing happening, and it's fun.
Oh, they spell Halliburton weird with 2 L's. Anyway, they've sponsored this episode of the podcast. We should do a quick check, make sure a quick mid-roll for them. Both of them, actually. It's going to be very confusing. Use code skeleton at checkout for your attaché case or your fracking operation. You'll get 15% off. Where are we? Okay, they found the suitcase in the water. Kate is keen on getting the suitcase, but remains secretive about its contents, prepping Sawyer to take it. Um, Kate's super weird about the case. She once again, everyone's like insane around Sawyer. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I
I
could
could smooth things
easily
over.
pretend not to care about the case and get the case later, or like she's just like immediately so suspicious about it, and goes about retrieving it in very strange ways. Uh, but I do appreciate that Kate calls Sawyer a southern pervert, which really rolls off the tongue as a fun thing to say.
Yeah. Why I don't this is like a writing thing, but also just like a real life thing of like, is everybody else just very different, or like do they just play by a different code than me? Like there's this scene where Sawyer's like, I just want to know what's in the case. So just tell me what's in the case, and then I'll give you the case. And Kate doesn't even attempt to lie, you know? You could still write it in that Sawyer doesn't believe the lie, but like, wouldn't you just attempt to lie? I would. Somebody's like, I'll just give you the case. I'd at least try to say something. Oh, it's got uh, nude photos of me.
Yeah, I would say it's got my brassiere and like make them uncomfortable. It's like it's got my feminine products in it, and they'd be like, "Ooh, I don't care about. Ooh, here you go."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want. Never mind. Conversation over.
Yeah.
But no, she's being sneaky. Meanwhile, at the beach, Shannon questions Boone about his and John Locke's activities. Boone says that they are searching for the kidnapped Claire. Tensions rise between Boone and Shannon, leading Boone to call her useless once again. Kate attempts to retrieve the suitcase from Sawyer's tent, resulting in a struggle. Sawyer, flirtatious yet resolute. It's kind of like the very powerful combination. He keeps the suitcase. The next day, Saeed seeks Shannon's help with translating Danielle Rousseau's notes, but Shannon's frustrations lead her to run off. Sawyer tries to force open the suitcase, but fails. There's a lot of like filler stuff in this episode, like try over and over again. Yeah. Kate manages to steal it back briefly, only to be confronted by Sawyer, who demands to know what's inside. Kate refuses to divulge the contents. So then she goes over to Jack. Says, "We have a problem." He's like, "We got a problem? You got a problem." And she tells him, while Son is right there, that the suitcase belonged to the U.S. Marshal who was escorting her and contains weapons. So yeah, Son overhears this conversation. They dig up the Marshal's body, and Kate retrieves the key but hides it from Jack. Eventually, Jack pressures, but Jack gets the key. Eventually, Jack pressures Sawyer into relinquishing the suitcase by threatening to withhold antibiotics for Sawyer's wound. You should be doing that.
Yeah, this would you got to think back to again. They're only there. They've only been there 3 weeks. If they just get picked up tomorrow, don't you think you'd get in trouble? I mean, this is kind of a more serious version of my do the flight attendants get the rest of the time off while they're on the island situation.
Yeah,
but like here, it's like
you would hope he loses his medical license for that. Like that's
but if you
crazy.
this is we got to get a real lawyer back on here to answer for us. But like, yeah, if you do something like that on a deserted island, do you lose your license if you get found? Or if you're on the deserted island for a really long time, does it just not count anymore? Just want to know kind of I guess the statute of limitations, but not just that, not just the time-based part, but sort of like the location-based thing. Like,
well, the Hippocratic oath or whatever, like your stuff isn't just like, aren't you kind of like bound, kind of like, it's you, the person, you are bound by these ethics.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like within the borders of this country. It's like,
yeah,
it's about you being. I'm just kind of riffing on this, but yeah, I think that. Yeah,
sure.
he's if not, I'm not here to present the legal case against Jack Shepard here on this. I think that what he's doing here is very unethical. That's super fucked up, and Yeah, people are weird to Sawyer this whole time.
Yeah, everybody's mean. Everybody hates
Everyone's mean to
Sawyer.
him.
I think they should be nice to him. He's only slightly more problematic than the rest of them, anyway.
Yeah. And Zoe and I were having a conversation too about this, where like his problematic nature is only like if you control for 2004, like he's kind of just like an annoying guy. Like
Yeah.
generally we're like, yeah, if you there's like most of the sexism and racism that he's doing was like, it's totally fine in 2004. At least, the way it's presented
In their minds, in the island mind. Yeah.
yeah. In the islands.
The island mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they do eventually open the suitcase, and Jack and Kate find guns in the same envelope Kate retrieved from the safety deposit box. Inside it is a toy airplane. Kate admits the toy belonged to a man she loved and killed, leading to an emotional breakdown. And Jack just walks away.
Gotta say, very relatable. If somebody did that to me, okay. Okay, I'm just gonna walk away now. That sucks.
Zoe was very upset that Jack just walked away.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would not have done the aggressive, like, stop lying to me. Tell me the truth.
That's the thing. I think
But if
you
I
interfere to be
did-
like, you have to tell me. You have to tell me. And she tells her, you're like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm of two minds in that situation because yeah, if I did that, I'm still like if I did that, I probably wouldn't react the same way to the second part. But if you dropped me into that situation and I suddenly got Jack's body, I'm like, okay, I'm out. Sorry, I agree with him. It sucks.
What else would you do if you suddenly got Jack's body?
I don't know.
Meanwhile, Rose shares her hope that her husband, Bernard, is still alive. And Shannon deciphers Rousseau's notes as lyrics from La Mer. Kate is left staring at the toy airplane, reflecting on her past. So overall thoughts for me, again, too much Jack sucking to get this higher than a 3 out of 5. I have been enjoying saying Lost in a strong Wisconsin accent, and I guess I was doing that a lot during this episode. So it's probably the mid-season break, but it does seem that people, were much less eager to go find Claire. That peeved me.
You really want
I'm
her
gonna give
back?
that a 2.
She got the lowest episode rating so far, so I was a little happy. Let's delay that.
Wait, do you not like
Delay
Claire?
that.
Like, I know you didn't like that episode.
I didn't like the episode. I don't like her backstory. It's boring. Yeah,
How is it boring? That's the most
boring.
interesting one to me, by far.
Really? It's too real. It's too real.
It's the least real of them all.
Well, from that
The
perspective,
psychic telling the damn future.
minus that part, the rest of her story, I'm counting the psychic as that's island-ish stuff, sort of mentally, but the rest, like her life on its own, is boring. Kate's going out there and killing people. Jack's ratting on his dad. Sawyer's a cool con man. Son is.
I think you're being cruel to Claire.
She's
being
kinda,
boring. She's a
being
normal
boring.
person trying to live her life.
She's kind of boring.
You don't have any sympathy for that. Where do you all these emotions you said you've learned with your empathy?
Not
Have a
me.
little bit of that.
I try to have empathy, but this one's a big stretch for me.
I just can't empathize with you. You're too boring. I can't. That's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, this one gets a 3
right.
though for me, and the last one gets a
Okay.
3 too because I didn't say that before. But yeah,
All right. Let's talk about one of the craziest episodes of TV.
wait. Before we get
Okay.
to that, I realized I forgot one thing at the end of the previous episode, which is that Jack asks. This is come with me on this very brief imagination tour. Jack asks his dad, "How many drinks did you have?" And the way he delivers the line, it's to me, it seemed kind of like it crossed the line from being a rhetorical question to a literal question, and then his dad kind of pauses like he's thinking about answering it too, and he doesn't answer it, which is probably good writing. But I just thought to myself, what would be both the funniest and like also the least, like, is there any way to answer that question that's not extremely funny,
Because he
said
says,
he
"I
was
know my
out.
limits."
He was out at lunch.
Yeah.
Yes. And like, I gotta say, I mean, if he went out to lunch and he had one drink or two drinks, I'm not saying that he should go do surgery, but I feel like if he's really like an alcoholic in the long term and he's been doing this for surgery on alcohol for a while, I don't know. Like, I feel like the nurses probably aren't going to be so worried that they're going to go, find Jack. But if he had like 50 drinks, that's also very funny. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that the nurse saw him drinking; they saw that he was shaking.
Yeah, shaking.
Yeah.
But how many drinks do you think? So how many drinks do you think he had? I'll ask it that way.
I'm gonna say 3 or 4 cocktails.
3 or 4 cocktails. Okay. I guess that's
just
in
my
between.
guess.
I guess that's in between. Just for me,
I'm still thinking like he's out. He's maybe he's got something in the car though too.
Had a drink in the car.
He goes
on
out
the
to
way
lunch.
home.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's funny thinking about, because the line between basically mentally being completely sober and then being drunk gets crossed very quickly. And so like right around that number. And so I'm just imagining myself doing this. Either I've either done one or two, and I'm probably okay, or I've had 3 or 4, and I'm like, I've decided to tell all the nurses to turn on, K-pop in the operating room or something, something like that, because I'm gonna do this operation having a really good time or something.
We were talking. Zoe and I were talking about Soderbergh this morning, and remembering the Nick, and how they actually needed to get him on drugs to get him to go do some surgery sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
I didn't consider
just offering another perspective.
I didn't consider a Clive Owen type situation. I think that is, but he was a little bit more of an angry. I guess that's just not me. Couldn't be me, because I'm not an angry drunk. Clive Owen in the Nick was an angry person. I feel like when I drink, I'm not getting upset or anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe his dad was, I'm angry. I'm going to become the best doctor in the world right now. That kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do get quite the portrait of the man over these couple episodes. Of
Jack, if you consider from the Denzel Washington perspective, Jack's a big time cop in this situation. How do you know that Jack's dad wasn't, a Denzel situation, and that it wasn't an accident, and his dad didn't? I guess he didn't. I guess we do know that he didn't save her.
Let's move on.
Okay, last episode.
All right. Hearts and Minds, Season 1, Episode 13. Tried to think a little bit about what the title could be referring to. I wonder if it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek nod to like the wild nature of this episode, really winning the hearts and minds of the audience, perhaps. But this aired January 12th, 2005, directed by Rod Holcomb, and I don't think he's been in the driver's seat so far. Boone and Locke head back to the jungle to investigate their recent discovery, a hatch. Boone is keen to tell Shannon about it, but Locke takes drastic measures to prevent him from returning to camp with the news. Elsewhere on the island, Kate talks freely about herself to Sun, believing that she cannot speak English, but when Kate says something funny, Sun can't help but laugh, giving herself away. So that summary really doesn't get into what's going on here at all. But here we go. Let's get into the synopsis here. The flashbacks. Shannon calls Boone from Sydney, asking for help after being beaten by her boyfriend, Brian. Seems to be like actively beaten, like on the phone. And I gotta say, right off the bat, we see Boone like answer the phone and like he's like walking with his arm around a woman, and right away Zoe and I were like, oh, that's Shannon. But then apparently it wasn't Shannon on the phone, but his girlfriend just looks like Shannon. Obviously that's intentional. Boone, worried, flies to Sydney and reports the abuse to the police, who do not care at all. And at the police station, Boone sees Sawyer being brought in, handcuffed, and shouting angrily. That's an interesting wrinkle. I haven't seen Boone and Sawyer interact, I don't think, on the island.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, no, Sawyer beats up Boone because Boone goes to...
Oh, yeah, exactly. The medicine.
Inhaler.
Yeah.
Boone later confronts Brian and offers him $25,000 to break up with Shannon, but Brian demands $50,000, which Boone agrees to pay. Boone realizes that this is not the first time Shannon has manipulated him into paying off her boyfriends. Brian admits that Shannon is scamming Boone to get money, but she believes... Oh, wait. What? Oh, yeah, okay, whatever.
Everyone's a scammer. Every scammer island.
Everyone's a scammer. Yeah, Brian admits that Shannon is scamming Boone to get money that she believes she deserves after Boone's mother withheld it from her. Boone, defeated, leaves. Okay, we get we do learn what business Boone runs in an earlier episode, but let me get a little bit more about it. He's talked about he's a business owner. He runs a business and it's a wedding business. His mom is
it's like
wedding queen of North America, and he runs a sub.
It's like one of those, I gotta say, like Les Wexner type situations in my mind, where that's the guy who owned like Victoria's Secret. Is that right? Epstein associate. I'm getting that kind of vibe from Boone.
Yeah, we're getting old money,
guy.
like
trying
weird
to be around
industry.
Young women.
Well, I guess
specifically being around women. Rich guy.
Okay, you're saying that's what
was wedding dresses and stuff like that, right?
Sure, I guess I'm not seeing that in Boone's character too much, but generally, like, hey, I think I agree about like wedding industry, but I think we're getting like the characterization of Boone. We see the tennis club that he's at is kind of part of some of this too, and he easily just like rips off a check and writes 50,000 on a thing. He's like this very wealthy guy kind of thing. Okay, so Boone defeated leaves, but later that night, a drunk Shannon comes to his hotel room claiming Brian stole the money. Shannon accuses Boone of always loving her, and the two sleep together. The next morning, Shannon tells Boone to keep their encounter a secret. Whoa! They put this shit on TV, dog.
Yep.
All right, so on the island, Boone becomes increasingly jealous of Shannon's growing relationship with Saeed. He warns Saeed to stay away from Shannon, and Saeed ignores him. And I will say, Saeed is being weird.
Well,
he, like, brings her high heels.
Yeah, but it's like a weird, I gotta say, that was a weird writing thing, I thought, because it's a character turn for him. Like if Sawyer was being weird, that's kind of in character.
Yeah.
But Saeed's like, out mapping the island, very tactical guy, and then all of a sudden he decides to be hot for Shannon.
Yeah, I agree. It feels weird. And it makes me like, I'm immediately like, I don't like Saeed that much anymore. Or as much. Like it hurts his character in like a unfortunate way, I think. He said he gives her the shoes and he says like, I have no use for these. Or something like
yeah.
You're like, Using these shoes. I
Well,
don't know, it's just weird.
when Boone confronts him too, he's just unnecessarily confrontational about it, which is just, that's TV show mindset, but very odd thing to empathize with. Like, if somebody's like, yo, stay away from my sister, I'd be like, okay, sorry, don't mean anything by it, that kind of stuff. And he's like,
Yep.
I'll do whatever the fuck I want,
Yeah.
Shannon likes to be with me.
It was weird. Meanwhile, Boone and John Locke are secretly working to open a mysterious hatch under the guise of hunting boar. There's a ongoing strength that people are talking about. Yo, the boar's running out. What the heck? Locke is
I don't
he
think
pretending?
an island depopulates from boar that quickly.
Well, no, it's because Locke isn't hunting boar.
No, I mean I understand that. I'm just saying if I was Hurley, I'm not, or any of the people who earnestly believe that. I'm not earnestly believing that. Couldn't fool me with that. I'd be like, there are
you're like
a lot of boar.
There are hogs all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are definitely taking Locke for granted here. And my
pick up a knife.
Yeah, seriously, get after it yourself. And my overall take on him is he's a good guy who has decided that he's nice. He'll help people out when he's not going to unnecessarily put people in danger, but he's his own. He's his own man. He's not going to go
he's a man with a plan.
He's not going to go get orders or whatever. It's I don't work for any of you people. I'm happy to go get the food. You can go eat fish for a little bit.
Yeah.
You're not going to starve.
Way better, gotta say, too. If I had the option between
how is that
boar
not
and fish,
the primary?
I'm eating the fish every time, even with the 100%. Option. It's got to be healthier, too. You can eat raw fish. I mean, you can cook it, too, and it'll be really good, but a boar, I'm thinking, if I'm lost on an island, I'm thinking, I don't know, can you eat a boar? And I guess even if somebody tells me that, I'm like, I don't know, my intuition tells me that this is not a thing that people usually eat. So I'm going to stay away from that and stick with the fish. Or the urchin, the uni that they have all over the place too. I'm doing
they seem to be spoilt for fruit as well. I'm not. It seems like such an unnecessary risk too to go boar hunting, and all that. But Locke reassures Boone that their work on the hatch is more important than hunting. But Boone grows tired of lying to the others and wants to tell Shannon the truth. In response, Locke says, "Are you sure about that? Are you sure this is the path you want to go down?" He gives him the chance to not do it, and Boone says, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." Locke knocks Boone unconscious and ties him up in the jungle, applying a strange paste to his head wound. He leaves a knife within reach, telling Boone he'll be able to free himself when properly motivated. And, okay, I'll admit, watching this, I was like, what the devil is he playing at? Yeah. But I trust in Locke. He's got it under control. This is admittedly unconventional, but
I'm a little disappointed by the way that Boone gets out, though, because I watch a lot of.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna break his arm, or he was gonna have to
I watch a lot of kung fu movies, right? And this type of situation is a common thing of your teacher, your master, kind of gives you something or puts you in a seemingly impossible situation, and they tell you something a little cryptic, or that seems a little cryptic, or that doesn't, at the very least, doesn't seem helpful to you during the onset, and it's something that you have to kind of stew over for a long time. Often in an exact same type of situation where you're maybe physically bound into a situation, right? and they tell you like, when you need to get out of this, you'll figure it out or whatever. You're like, damn, that fucking sucks. That doesn't help me at all. And then there's some trick about it. It's not just like, well, when you really need to get out of
just
here,
like
you can deal with the
a
pain
little bit harder.
Yeah, just go and lean forward a little bit more. No, it'll be like you'll realize something about yourself.
You need to actually resist less. Like the whole time you've been straining
Yes.
against the restraints, and you need to like relax, and then like, oh, it just the knots fall away from you or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you realize, oh, actually, if I move against or I move into the resistance instead of against it, it will fall apart. That kind of thing. Exactly.
Yeah, it was just like a
And
little bit more.
I gotta take a little more pain because I really want to get out of here.
Mm. I thought it was gonna be like you're gonna have to break your arm to get out of it though, a little bit too.
Yeah.
But
a little bit of a risky situation because people have died in the jungle so far, you know.
Yeah, but
if
it worked out.
If you're locked,
fine.
You're gonna have a little bit of egg on your face if they're like, yo, we just found Boone dead in the forest, all tied up, and you're like, damn, I was trying to do kind of Shaolin tempo thing on him.
Yeah, but my man has it figured out. Trust the plan. Boone soon hears Shannon's screams and the sounds of the island's mysterious monster. In a panic, he struggles through the pain to reach the knife and free himself. He finds Shannon tied to a tree and they flee together, but the monster catches her. Boone later discovers Shannon's mutilated body by a creek and watches her die, devastated. That night, Boone attacks Locke, accusing him of killing Shannon. However, Locke reveals that Shannon is alive, explaining that the paste caused Boone to have a vision. He doesn't say that the paste caused Boone to have a vision.
It's implied.
Yeah.
Because Boone asks about the paste. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is for later. Locke insists that the vision was crucial for Boone's experience on the island. Boone admits that seeing Shannon dead brought him a sense of relief, and Locke leads him deeper into the jungle. Listen, he's got it all figured out. Don't worry about him. Meanwhile, Kate shows Jack a garden that Sun has started, which I think is a little bit of a faux pas, a little bit rude. Like, you let Sun have her garden. You don't need to be like, hey, everybody, check it out. Garden for us all.
Yeah.
It's Sun's garden, okay?
It's literally like a microcosm of the like post-colonial thing, like the thing that Anthony Bourdain would talk about, and probably other not white people, of I'm the American person who went to India, and now I'm going to come back to America and tell everybody Indian food very good, and it's kind of my thing that I discovered.
Yeah. So yeah, Kate shows Jack a garden that Sun has started, where Kate discovers that Sun speaks English. Sun asks Kate to keep this a secret. Locke also gives Said. The way she discovers Sun speaks English, Kate's just yapping at her and notices that Sun reacts to what she's saying. I think it was rude of Kate to just be yapping, just assuming she didn't understand either. Like, why would you be talking? Like, she's still like a person. Like, even if she can't understand you, like, she's talking to her the way that, like, I'll tell my dogs about my day, you know? It's like, hey, I went to this and that. No, like, not expecting a response at all the whole time. But, like, if it was a person, I wouldn't just be like, who didn't speak English, to be like, talking to them like, they don't care. They're not going to respond to me. Who cares? But like, I'm going to take up your ears with my bullshit.
Yeah. Once again, I think I'm business professional situation. I could see that after a long time on an island where you get into the, you know, your dog talking to you and you talking to your dog thing, where, you know, maybe it's nice to hear another voice, even if you can't communicate. But they've been here for 3 weeks. And you're humans.
Does Sun do that? Does Sun just blabber to herself? No. I think I'm gonna like take that lead and be like, maybe I'll say, like, if I'm feeling like I feel that we're kind of chill, I might like say things every once in a while, see how it feels. But I'm not just gonna be like,
Jen and Hurley
And then
do
I
it.
did this, and then I did that, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And
Jen and Hurley have a normal human interaction, even though they're pissed at
Yes.
each other later on, where it's like you say something and you know the other person can't respond, but it's kind of because you need to hear it. And then like Hurley says something, and then Jen walks away and then turns around and says something back to him. And, you know, you kind of get the shape of a conversation happening,
yeah.
a human interaction.
Locke also gives Saeed a compass, but Saeed soon realizes that it's malfunctioning. Meanwhile, Hurley and Jin Soo Kwon spend the day fishing, bonding despite the language barrier, with Jin eventually helping Hurley by cleaning a fish for him. And Hurley's begging him to piss on him. Please!
Please.
Piss on me.
He grabs at Jin's.
Yeah, I thought he just...
I'm not doing that. Gotta say. Would not do that. Not in business professional mode. Not in I've been on the island for 4 years mode. Nothing.
Yeah, you're saying like per my previous email, piss on me, per my previous email, piss on me, like, you know, bumping this, circling back to this, piss on me.
Yes.
You're using professional language when you go about this.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Zoe called out that that's a Survivor thing. She learned that from so that they're still doing Survivor. They're assuming the writers of the show is assuming everyone else is. She saw that somewhere else. No, yes, that is true. It's from Survivor.
Wait, it's a real thing though, right?
Urchin. Survivor's a reality show.
No. I thought as what you're saying that Zoe learned about or is claiming that in pop culture, most people learned of the pee thing because of Survivor.
No, Zoe just mentioned that it was in Survivor that there was the peeing thing, and I think that the writers are probably like aware that Survivor is a big deal, and so like they can probably, you know, play on people's general knowledge of Survivor.
Sure,
it's in conversation with Survivor.
Sure,
how about that? Yeah, Locke's compass is interesting. I thought like the whole like, oh, the compass is busted. Yeah, he's not a tracker. I go against what you said, but he's just completely attuned to the island. There's those two paths when following Charlie and Claire, and so like there was the one path that Jack was like it's Jack and Kate were like it's this way because it's like the Charlie's like finger tape is this way, and Locke is like no it's this way. And so we find out that like, oh, actually, Kate and Jack were right. It was this direction we found early this way, but and so like, oh wait, John Locke was wrong with his direction, but no, what he's doing, and we saw the previously on in this episode too, like the reminder. John Locke calls. He's able to predict the weather down to the second of like, oh, it's about to rain, and it just rains on them immediately like that. And I think he's less, ooh, the sun and the moss and the leaves and stuff are all like telling me I have this expert like survivalist knowledge. He is just locked in to the island vibes. He's picking it up and he's being guided. He gives up his compass. You need it more than I do. All these sorts of things like, oh, it's busted. He wasn't even looking at the compass. He's just in mystic mode. And so, okay, I'm gonna give this episode a 4 out of 5, even though like there was the insane step sibling relationship in this, because this really made me realize like I have truly had no idea where this is going. Like outside of it being totally spoiled for me, but and there was less Jack bullshit this episode.
It's a 3 for me. But I agree with that. I just don't like the Boone and Shannon stuff, but everything else is trending in the right direction.
I mean, I don't like it either, but like I feel it was. I was having a like, it elicited the reaction, a strong reaction that wasn't like countertextual necessarily. I think that it was like, whoa, what the heck, man? Where is this going?
Yeah.
In the right way. Okay, so that was season 4, or sorry, season 1, episodes 10, 11, 12, and 13. Next episode, we will be talking about season 1, episodes 14, 15, 16, and 17. 14 through 17. We've got 3 more episodes left of season 1. There's a lot of this fucking show, dude. I felt a little like...
Wait, how many episodes left to see? We have more than that, don't we?
Of this season?
It goes to like 25
Oh,
episodes.
3 more of our shows. 3 more of our...
yes.
We're going to cover...
Yes.
11 more episodes of this season across 3 more episodes of the show, of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So watch 14, 15, 16, and 17 for next week.
You never know what's going to
lost
happen on
fatigue?
this island. No, I'm not. I'm excited.
I am, which
You
is
are.
bad because it's
Oh,
we are halfway
man.
through the first season. But I mean, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna do this. I have no doubt in my mind that I'm gonna publish it. But I'm like, God damn it, I have to watch more fucking Lost.
No,
Anytime that.
I like watching it. I've been watching it. Actually, I have been watching it at the last minute. But maybe tonight I'll watch it. Who knows?
Is that because you want it to be fresh, or just because you're putting it off?
Not. I just end up putting it off. But it is helpful to have it, fresh. I watched one of the episodes today, the last one today earlier. So, yeah.
Yeah, we had to plan our week out because of this, because we can't. I have to have enough time to like write up the run of show and everything like that, and so it's like, all right, I can't be watching anything today. I have to have this all done at the very latest by like afternoon the day before. Work backwards from there. I was really pushing it, watching in 2 episodes one day. I don't want to try to do that again. So yeah, I don't know. I'm being a baby about how much Lost I'm watching. Getting Lost fatigue this early on is probably not great. But yeah, if you want to write into the show, Dr. Skeleton's Art School at gmail.com. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Dr. Skeleton is kind of the umbrella company for Ben and I's creative endeavors. What else? I think that's it. Don't write in with spoilers.
Yeah.
Write in with your reactions if you're watching.
You can't spoil anything. Nobody can spoil anything for me. I mean, you could in theory, it's possible. In practice,
you can tell him stuff he doesn't
won't.
know.
I won't even listen.
It's not.
I won't read any messages. I don't even know. I've never received a direct message on Twitter. Maybe from Will one time. Yeah. I don't even
That's
know
your
what
challenge.
I don't
Try
even
to
know what the
spoil
email
Ben
address
this week.
is. Yeah. Try it. Try it. See if I even notice.
Empty brain. Try to get past that.
Yeah.
Yep. Check us out on YouTube. That's the big one. And thanks for
TikTok.
listening. Bye.
Zynga.
And TikTok. Are you enjoying the vertical video content that this show is generating?
I literally have to ask Shelly to show it to me on her phone like I'm an elderly man.
It's a miracle that I found you at any point. Like I came across your entire person at some point. Because I don't know, you're unreachable, mostly. He's an inscrutable guy. He's not on me. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next week. Goodbye.